evening, good morning, good afternoon. Welcome back to my channel. I apologise for taking a week off, but I needed it. I'm back and better than ever, and I feel better and well rested thanks to my week off. I just couldn't bring myself to film. My head has been a mess, but we're better, and I bought myself a Kindle to make myself relax, which seems to be working because I don't even know if I can drag this over. This is just in my bedroom, by the way. This is my pile of books that I bought in the last 3 months, and I have a problem. So we have addressed the problem by spending more and bought a Kindle. But that's okay, because now I don't have space for thousands of books. So we're now going to have them all on a Kindle. I've really gone off on a tangent here. But yeah, I'm feeling better. I hope everyone else is okay. I have adjusted the settings on my microphone, so if you can't hear me, you won't see this. I'll have to refilm it. Today I've got a very, very interesting case, and it's one of my plot twist favourite kind of cases because this woman killed her own hitman. How impressive is that? Today we're going to be talking about Susan Kuhasaman. I only have one trigger warning for today, and that is mental health. So if that's something you don't want to listen to at the moment, that's absolutely fine. I'll see you for another video. Content warning, as always, strong language. So I don't have a massive amount of background information on this case, so we're just going to get straight into it. Susan was born in 1955 in Portland. Susan and Mike met in 1988. This was because of a personal ad that had been taken out by Susan on behalf of her mum and her friend. And it's not I wouldn't be thrilled if my friends put this ad out about me, to put it that way. Single white female, 33, overweight, but not over life. Seeks single male who wants more out of life than slender. I would be fucking fuming if my mum and one of my best friends did that as an ad for me. Overweight, but not over life. Rude. Michael, however, responded to the ad, and they began a relationship over the phone, talking frequently until they eventually met face to face. Michael was 39 years old at the time and had been divorced once before, and he loved the outdoors. I hate it when I write that because I just think Labrador. As soon as I hear loves the outdoors, Labrador. For the first date, they went to go and feed the ducks together, and within a year they were married. I think I've made my feelings on things like this quite clear. That is mental. Within a year. Like, it's just nuts. People used to move mad. And this is a good example of why we don't marry someone after a year, because you don't really know someone after a year. Like, really, do you? Do you? So almost immediately after getting married, Mike stopped socialising with Susan. He stopped going out with her when she was going out with her friends. He stopped planning these outdoor dates and just doing anything with her, really. Instead, he seemed miserable, pessimistic, and fed up with life. Joy. And his motto of his life was, life is a shit sandwich and you eat a bit every day until you die, which is just the uplifting thing that I really needed today. So Susan's obviously a bit miffed. She thought she'd married this lovely, outgoing, outdoorsy, happy person, and she's stuck with this miserable bastard. Michael then became even worse and became controlling and quite angry. And as soon as she wanted to go out anywhere, he would be just pestering her with millions of questions about where she was going, who she was going with, what time she was going to be there, what time she was going to be leaving. Like, just every question you could possibly ask, he was asking. He complained about every penny she spent from money she'd earned herself, and went through receipts in, picky detail, like, just, scrutinising detail. He went through it in really a lot of detail. Now, she was a nurse and he was a janitor at an adult store, so I don't really want to know what he was mopping up, but I can't imagine it's nice. So she presumably makes a lot more money than he does, so it's none of his fucking business where she's spending her money, really, is it? In 2005, Susan, after 17 years of being married to this miserable fucker, had finally had enough. She was just like, you're dragging me down. I've had enough. So she asked him for a divorce and asked him to move out the house. He did comply, he did move out, but she didn't feel the need to change the alarm codes or the locks because he'd never been violent towards her before, so she felt she had nothing to fear. Now, as I said, Susan is a nurse and she works in the ER, which is probably one of the harder places to work. So she's just constantly on her feet, rushed about, and she does long hours. In September of 2006, she was 51 years old and she'd just returned home from presumably quite a long shift. When she arrived home, she noticed that all the blinds in the house were down, which she thought was odd because it was kind of part of her routine that she opened the blinds every morning, but she didn't think too much of it. As she got in, she made her way to her bedroom because she wanted to get changed into something more comfortable. As she made her way into her bedroom, she was immediately attacked by a man with a claw hammer who had been lying in wait for her to get home, and because he took her by surprise, he managed to smack her in the face, I think twice. She knew quite quickly that this man was going to kill her. I mean, if someone's hiding in your house with a claw hammer, there's a pretty good guess that he is there to kill you. She took a good look at his face and she had no idea who this man was. And the house hadn't been ransacked, nothing had been taken, nothing had been stolen. So he was there just to kill her. But Susan's a badass bitch and she said, fuck you, I am not dying today. Thankfully, when she was younger, she had been taught self-defense by her dad, and part of her training as an ER nurse to deal with aggressive patients, she had been taught self-defense there too. She managed to wrestle the hammer off this lunatic, and one of the things that her dad had taught her was that if someone attacks you with a claw hammer, use the claw, that bit to hit someone, not the actual hammer end. Use the claw end to smack someone, and that's what she did. And whilst she was fighting with him, I think she got a few shots to his head, and he said, wow, you're strong. The pair of them continued to struggle with each other, and the whole time Susan was asking him, like, who are you, what do you want, why are you here, who sent you? I mean, she's a 51-year-old woman who is a nurse. She's not like a mob boss or a drug dealer or anything dodgy. So she had no idea why this man was here to kill her. She didn't know what the hell she'd done. She got him down on the ground and straddled him and started to strangle him, all while saying, who are you? What do you want? Who sent you? She actually said to him, tell me who you are and I'll call you an ambulance, because she knew she was fucking him up. Sorry, it's not funny. He never answered the question, and Susan actually did end up killing him. She ended up crushing his windpipe and he died. All of this happened from her entering the house to him passing away within 14 minutes, which doesn't sound like a very long time at all, but I'm sure it felt like absolute hours. She did have an inkling who may have sent this man to her home, and she thought it may have been her ex-husband, Michael. Susan ran to a neighbour's house and called the police, and when the police arrived, they found 59-year-old Edward Haffey deceased where Susan had left him. She didn't mean to kill him, and at this point she didn't actually know that she had killed him. But she said that she felt really sorry for his friends and family of what she'd done, but she ultimately did what she needed to survive. It was either he died or she died. She told the police straight away about her suspicions about her husband, and the police confirmed it pretty much straight away after they did a search of the house. They found a backpack in the basement, which Susan confirmed was not hers, and it did actually belong to Edward. The backpack contained $200 cash and a note that said, call Mike. $200 to kill someone with a claw hammer. $200? Is that it? Richard Haffey had almost a lethal dose of cocaine in his system, which I think makes it even more impressive that Susan was able to take him down and ultimately kill him. Because isn't cocaine supposed to make you like mad strong and like basically give you not superpowers, but like give you like mad adrenaline? Like, shouldn't that have really helped him? He was known to the police as a drug addict and had an extensive criminal past. He spent 9 years in prison in 1994 for the murder of his then girlfriend. So he was a really nice 9 years. He was a really nice guy. 9 years for killing someone is just nuts. Ed actually worked with... Have I been saying Richard? Who's Richard? Who the fuck's Richard? Ed. Ed Haffey worked with Michael at the adult video store, and Michael had said to him, could you kill my wife for me? And he said, yeah, sure. So the police then start searching for Michael, and they go to his father's house and they find a suicide note from Michael. It ends up taking police 5 days to track him down, and when they do track him down, he's trying to check himself in for psychiatric help. He said he had nothing to live for and he didn't want to be here anymore. Police forced him into a psychiatric hold, and 11 hours later he was arrested for conspiracy to commit murder. They originally thought that Mike just wanted Susan dead because he was bitter about the divorce, but it turns out Mike had actually lost his job a few weeks prior, and he wanted the house because it was all paid off. First, he denied any involvement in the attempted murder of Susan, but it was then revealed that someone had put the alarm code in. Susan had set the alarm before she'd gone to work, so someone had disarmed the alarm, and he's the only other person that knew the code because she hadn't changed them. A former cellmate of Ed actually came forward as well and said he had met with both Ed and Mike and had been offered $5,000 to kill Susan. Of course, there was the backpack as well that was used as evidence because there was a note that said, "Call Mike" in it, and he was the only person with any motive. Confronted with the evidence mounting against him, Mike eventually pled guilty and he was sentenced to 10 years. Susan changed her name to Susan Walters, and of course she suffered greatly mentally from this experience. Her house is like super duper secured now, so no one can really get in. Well, no one should be able to get in or out. She's constantly like looking over her shoulder, and she was terrified that he was going to send someone else to come and kill her and just finish off the job. She ended up suing Michael in civil court and won for the award of $1 million, which she didn't do it for the money. She did it so Michael would never have enough money to hire another hitman, which is genius. As Michael's release date approached, as his sentence was actually reduced to 7 years, this just made Susan so much more anxious, and I mean, it would. She was absolutely petrified of this man. Thankfully, though, on June 13th, 2014, Michael died just a few weeks before he was due to be released. Thank God. And Susan said she was finally free from the fear, which is so good, because it must have been absolutely terrifying. Yeah, that is the case of badass Susan Walters. She is incredible. Like, I've never, ever, ever, ever heard of anyone killing their own hitman. That is just iconic behaviour. Yeah, that is today's case, all over and done with. Next week we have got Daniel LaPlante, which you may have seen on TikTok, because that's where I fucking saw it. Positive thoughts. My positive thought of the day is actually really easy this week because I bought myself a Kindle yesterday and it's the best fucking thing I've ever bought in my life. I read a book in 4 hours. I was so excited to get my Kindle, so I got myself a Kindle. So that is very easy positive thought. I'm very excited about that. But until next week, make good choices. Make sure you change locks, alarms, everything regularly. Be a bit of a lunatic with locking things. Like, I know I am. As soon as I come through any door, it's locked. Like, I don't open doors. The only door I come through is the front door. Everything else just remains locked constantly. It's better to be paranoid in some instances, I think. Be careful who you marry. Absolutely do not marry someone after a year. You don't know them. It's too soon. Don't get murdered. I'll see you next week. Love you, bye. Dance now, I make money move. Don't let these hoes bother me. If I fuck 3 times, alright. I've been on the chart. Hey, I see she free killing me. You're winning.
How you gonna finesse up?
Who knows if I'll keep that in? My brain is just not fucking working. No. I only have trigger strong today. What? Come on. I cannot see. Where am I from? What accent was that? This man is testing my patience. What the fuck are they? Drive time, she immediately Oh, God, did you hear that? That was my back.